So today I'm doing a top tips for car boot sales. I go to car boot sales all the freaking time. Every single Sunday when I can and the weather's okay, I'm out of there. I'm on a car boot sale. I don't really buy a lot of clothes from the high street. I'm all about car boot sales. I love things being cheap, I love finding a bargain, I love finding hidden gems, old items you can't get anymore, vintage items that are magical one-off pieces that no one else will wear. That is the magic of car boot sales. So today I'm going to give you my top tips about how to be a badass at car boot sales. I've got my trusty notebook. Yep. Number one is research. Can't stress research enough. Find car boot sales near you. There's like online sites like, I think it's called carbootsales.org or something. I don't know, just Google car boot sales. Then you'll probably find it, and you can search by county, by city, all sorts of things to find like car boot sales near you. A lot of them do start in March or April, but it's always good to, you know, get ahead of yourself. There will be some near you that are on right now, indoor ones or undercover ones in car parks, etc. And even just ones that go on all year round because they're crazy, but you know, there will be something near you. The other way you can find car boot sales is on social media, so you can just, I've always like searched car boot sales on Twitter, and you might be able to find something. Ask your friends, look in newspapers, look on websites again, but like, you know, forums or whatever. Ask your mum, she might know. Who knows? Sometimes you can just see signs around your town that say car boot sale this Sunday. Magical. They're the best ones sometimes. The worst thing is getting to a car boot sale and you're not being on. So do your research. Phone a number. I'll say, you know, a lot of car boot sales, especially in the summer, in the morning at like 5 AM, they'll record a pre-recorded message saying, we're on today. So if you phone up the number, you can tell. So you don't go out, come to a field, and there's nobody there. That is the worst thing ever. It's so annoying. So that is research. Very important. Number two is weather. Obviously, a lot of car boot sales are outside, so weather's quite important to know whether they'll be on or not. So obviously you just want dry. Dry, dry, dry. It can be cold, it can be windy, it can be muddy, it could be anything. As long as it's dry and not actually raining, that's perfect car boot sale weather. I've been going to car boot sales all January, all February, and as long as it's dry, they're always on, so it's fine. You do not want to get there and be soaked and everyone's packing up because it's raining. That's just the worst thing. Even in summer it happens too, and like throughout spring, so you just got to pick your days. There's 4 Sundays in a month, so hopefully you'll be able to get at least one weekend where it's dry. Next up is travel. So obviously having a car is really convenient for car boot sales. I drive to a lot of them. There is one I live in Prestwich, and there is one in Prestwich. So there could be ones nearby that you can walk to, or you know, that could be just like close by that you don't have to have a car for. But cars are very convenient for getting to a lot of car boot sales in a day, and just ones that are further away if you don't live anywhere where there are car boot sales. You can get public transport, obviously, to car boot sales. When I lived in Leeds, I used to get a train to Dewsbury to go to the car boot sale there. So, you know, depending on where they're located, a lot of car boot sales are actually in the middle of nowhere, in a field. So really, a car is the best thing. Otherwise, carpool. Your mum might want to go to a car boot sale, so just go with her. Happy days. Next thing. What is the next thing? Next thing is money. So I always take more money than I think I'll spend, or like really want to take out my bank account, because I know if I get there and I run out of money, I'm going to be really pissed off. If you go to a car boot sale and you find something that's, you know, like £10, £15, it's furniture, it's a really crazy vintage piece, then you're going to be so annoyed that you can't buy it. There's no going to a cash point and then coming back and buying it, because most of the time these places are in the middle of nowhere, so there's no cash points nearby. So it is the most annoying thing to not have the money. Even though obviously you're not spending very much, I take like £30 with me to a car boot sale and I don't spend all of that at all. But if there was a time when I needed that money, I'd be so annoyed that I didn't take it with me. So always take a little bit more than you think you might need. Useful advice. And the other bit with money is to take small change. So normally if I go to a car boot sale, I might go get cash out in the morning before I go. So I'll go cash point at like a service station and take out however much money I want, and then I'll go and buy a stick of gum for like 60p, and that gives me like so much change and pounds and stuff, which is so useful for car boot sales, because if you throw a 20 at someone and you're buying something for 50p, they may not have change and you're kind of screwed. So change is the best option. And the other thing you can do with that, just a quick tip, is if you do take out more money than you say need at a car boot sale, and it is a lot of change, at the end of, you know, Sunday when you've finished and you've got all this change left over, put it in like a car boot sale jar for like next week. Perfect idea. Also, a lot of car boot sales have entrance fees. Well, not a lot, but I'd say like half. I go to some that don't, I go to some that do. I go to one that's like £3 to get in, but it's a big one, so it's okay. But even so, it's annoying. So just keep that in mind for how much money you're taking, because by the time you've bought petrol and got the entrance fee and you've got your sticker gun, your money's looking lower. So always worth to take a little bit more. Next up is, how can I say this? Baggage? Baggage? I don't know. Just take a bag with you. I take like a bag for life. Useful. Or a basket. I have lots of like wicker baskets that I can take with me. Because obviously now that the 5p carrier bag charge is in place, not a lot of people have carry bags, so you end up carrying all your stuff around with you at the car boot and it's just not good enough. And it's not fun to be lugging things about, especially if you buy heavy things or you're buying a lot. If you don't have a bag or something to put it in so you can keep your hands free for rummaging, then it's really annoying. So take like, oh, I had another bag as well. You know, one of those little fold up bags? That's like a perfect idea. Or like a basket or a bag. And then you can always take things back to your car. If you do buy too much, just remember where your car is, because there can be a lot of cars at car boot sales. The amount of times I've gotten lost going up and down the roads trying to find my car, far too many times. So yeah, take a bag with you so you're not lugging a million bits of clothing in your bag or your handbag. Just annoying. The other thing, just like pre-car boot sale, is supplies. So I'm normally out quite early and then I get back like lunchtime, so I need to take like a drink with me, a snack bar, buy coffee on the way, etc, etc. So just be prepared for like a long morning, and because you're getting up early, I don't normally have breakfast at home, I just get out of the house, so take breakfast with you and you'll be, you know, ready for the day of car booting. And then it's the actual car boot sale. So at the car boot sale, I can say it's rummage, rummage, rummage. There's so many like things I found from just like looking in a box of crap that someone's selling, and then there's like magical stuff at the bottom, or on a rail it doesn't look great but something's just a bit hidden. Just rummage, you know. I'm the person at the car boot sale on the floor rummaging through this person's suitcase, and most of the time they're like, oh yeah, have a rummage, you know. They want you to look because they want you to buy their stuff. So just go mental, rummage, look through rails. You know, if you spot something you like, that stall might also have other things that are like that. So make sure you look through that whole stall and just go mental, because it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it when you find that magical item and you're like, oh my god, I can't believe I found that. It's so good, such a good feeling. So don't be afraid to be the loser who's rummaging about. Next up is bartering. So bartering's a funny one. I don't feel 100% comfortable bartering. If I think an item's worth what the person says, if they say £1, I know I sound like a cheapskate here, but car boot sales are all about cheap, so I don't care. So if someone says something £1 and I feel like it's worth £1, I'll just pay £1. I don't give a shit, do you know what I mean? If I'm happy and it's really good, I'll pay £1. If someone says £4 and it's not worth £4 at all, I'll either leave it because I just don't think it's worth it, or I will say £2. I'll say £1. If someone says something's £1 and I've got like 6 things, I'll be like 5 for £5. So just getting that little bit of money off. Most people will just say yes. If they say no, who cares? If you still want it, buy it for the full price. If you don't want it, just leave it. Don't feel pressured into still having to buy the item even when you haven't got the right price, because you can put it down. You'll never see these people again. Just put it down, get away from there. But there's no harm in trying. No harm in trying, absolutely. If you see something for £1 and you've got 2, say 2 for £1. Or if something's £2, say £1. You know, just say, would you take 50p? And the amount of times you get money off, and then that's more money for other stuff. So it's just a win-win. Well, it's not a win-win, but if you win, it's great, and if you don't, who gives a shit? Just leave it and carry on. So it's all good. So the other thing that you can do at car boot sales is, that me and my mum do all the time in like the bartering situation, is if you see an item and it's too expensive and you don't want to pay that much and you're like, oh god, why have they said that much money? So my mum will usually come over, I'll be like, Mum, I want this item, it's like £15 but I don't know, and she's like, £15? What are you doing? And I'm like, Mum, but it's really good, I really need it in my life, oh my god. And she'll be like looking at it, you know, store holders there, looking like, what are they doing? And we're like, it's got like a rip there, and it's got a bit of dirt here, and you spend like a few minutes like talking over the item. And this is also after they've said, no, I won't take £5 for it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like you're trying to make the buyer want a sale because you're still looking at it, but you're kind of like, yeah, and then you might put it down, you might walk away and then be like, well, I'll just look at it again, or come back around on the next row and then look at it, and who knows, they might go down because you're obviously being persistent and you're not sure if you want to buy it. They want to make a sale, they don't want to lug all this stuff back to their house. So at the end of the day, it doesn't work all the time, but it's a good way to try and get some money off if they're being really like annoying about the price. And that's pretty much it. That's all my tips for car boot selling. Most of it's like preparing for the car boot so you have the best time at the car boot, because you know, if you just do all these things then you won't be stuck with no money, you won't be stuck with some food when you're hungry, and you'll make sure that every car boot sale you go to is on. So I hope these tips have helped, and some of you will be able to go to car boot sales knowing a bit more, and I just hope you find some bargains. So I'll see you next time. Thumbs up if you like this. Bye!